Hey, this is Adam Torres, and I'm here to tell you that it has never been easier to start your very own podcast. At Mission Matters, our goal is to amplify stories that matter. That means we want to help you start your podcast because your story matters. We can do this in 3 different ways. 1, join our podcast school and take a free or paid course. 2, visit our resources page where we've already figured out what you need, such as where to host your podcast. Or 3, heck, we can even do everything for you through our podcast agency, including editing for cheaper than you can do in-house. Oh, and no contract, service is month to month. Get started by heading over to missionmatters.com and click on Start a Podcast. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Money Podcast, your source for all things money. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Andrew Ray on the line. He's CEO and trusted business funding advisor with Flow Business Funding, and he's also author of Entrepreneurial Money Secrets, Unlock the Power of Corporate Credit to Leverage Access to Business Capital and Win. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Adam, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Oh, man. So I'm excited to get into this book today. For all my audience that's been following me for a long time, as you know, I like helping authors sell books. So we're going to order this book on Amazon and support Andrew. I found it really easy. It's really easy to find. I just put in Andrew Ray Money Secrets. I mean, how can you not remember that? It pops right up on Amazon. But the full title, again, Entrepreneurial Money Secrets, Unlock the Power of Corporate Credit to Leverage Access to Business Capital and Win. Good title, long title, but hey, you type in Amazon, Andrew Ray Money Secrets, comes right up, like the first or second one down. So just a quick tip to the audience to go check that out as we talk. So Andrew, I want to get into this book, but before we do, just to give the audience a little bit more on your background, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing over at Flow Business Funding, please.
Yeah, we get money for entrepreneurs, specifically small business owners and startup companies. So we teach them. Our whole adage is education, motivation, and then facilitation. So, we educate about things that you might not have even heard about or not aware of, and how to get money and how to build your own business credit to your LLC or corporation, completely separate from your personal FICO.
Yeah, and then awesome. And it's a big deal. So not everybody is familiar with the differences of what that means and what that looks like. And we're going to go into some of the nuts and bolts of what this looks like. And I think this is a good transition. I want to jump right into the book. So first thing first, what was the inspiration for writing this?
Really sharing information. I worked in finance since 2003. I got in the mortgage business, and prior to that, I have a social science degree, studied cultural anthropology, psychology, sociology, minored in international business, and backpacked in Europe, traveled all over the world. And then I realized that there was this missing link in people trying to start and grow businesses. So I wanted to share information. So I finally sat down, got my butt in gear, and wrote it out, and it's been a journey ever since.
Man, so there's a lot of first-time or would-be authors out there, or people that have books in them. I mean, I love to ask this question to someone when they finish their book. Was it like how do you feel now that it's done? Because I feel like everybody goes out there and they could go on this path of creating a book. Like maybe it's more than they expected, maybe it's less. I mean, what was your experience?
Well, I tell you, it was definitely a journey. There was times that you want to give up, and whether you're go through fears of how people are going to receive the information and yourself. And, it's kind of like when you're an artist and you create some form of art and you're afraid to put it out, but then you're excited at the same time. So when I did release it, I worked with a coach. So I would definitely tell people, if you haven't done it before, get with somebody who can help you along the way, because there's a process that you follow in order for it to be successful and reach the audience that you're hoping to reach. So that was totally helpful.
Totally, I completely agree with that, and I'm always a fan of that. I mean, it's like I'm the guy that needs a trainer to get in the gym, right? Because if I go by myself, I'm not going to push myself. I'm not going to be as strategic. I mean, I need the trainer there, and then we get results and we do what we have to do. So I'm a huge fan of the coach thing, whether it's
gym, in life, writing a book, all the above, which may sound self-interested as a publisher, obviously, but I just think it works. I mean, I've seen it time and time again. You work with a professional, it gets done, is the bottom line. A lot of people listen to this, they might have their book kind of in their head still. Get that thing out on paper, man. Get it published. So love it, Andrew. So let's I want to dive into some of the nuts and bolts of this. And to everybody listening, we're not going to get in, and you can only do so much in a 15-minute episode, but even if we had longer time, we still wouldn't do it, because again, I want you to go to Amazon and go pick this book up. Really easy. Again, Andrew Ray Money Secrets, put in Amazon, hit the search, and it comes right up. Simple as it gets. So Andrew, let's just start off, and I want to pick a couple of things here. So I think maybe I know it goes through this in the book, but this might be a good basis for our conversation. Maybe just explain the difference between, personal credit and business credit for the audience.
Okay, really the difference, the major difference is personal credit, you're leveraging your own personal background, your integrity as far as your ability to pay your bills on time, and to manage everything, so you're not trying to get too much credit. And, it's kind of like the education we were taught was in reverse. It was wrong. Don't get in debt. Don't use your credit and everything. But if you're an entrepreneur and you're listening to the show, that's a bunch of nonsense. Learning to borrow and borrow effectively is super powerful in succeeding. Any company is learning to leverage credit in order to grow their capital, in order to be successful. And so business credit is building that credit to an LLC or corporation, some entity that's completely separate from your personal. Leveraging between the two is where the real power happens, because then you can access hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars for your company.
No, well said, and it makes a lot of sense. And to me, it's always been the difference between, it can be depending on the business, right? Like kind of like the gasoline on the fire. Like it makes it grow faster, depending again on the company and the model and everything else and where you're at in your stage. But I find that maybe some businesses stay small unintentionally, and I use that word very specifically because some businesses want to be small. They have their one shop, they have their one retail thing that fits their lifestyle. They don't want to work 100 hours a week or whatever it may be, and they may be fine. They have a system that works for them. It meets their quality of living. Great. Not judging that one way or another, but there's some people out there that are working 100 hours a week and they're killing themselves, and maybe capital can be the answer, or maybe they need that outside thing that's going to put them over the top, because just their normal cash flow and saving maybe is not going to do it, or maybe it's going to kill, 10 or 20 years of their life, when if they would have, packaged it correctly and thought about the idea of capital, maybe things would have, the business could have had a larger potential possibly, right? So tell us a little bit more about kind of how that works.
Yeah, no question. Everything you just said is 100% true. And the other thing that I like to mention to people, and I don't hear this a lot, is the tax advantages. The whole tax system is set up on corporate debt. If you're offsetting your taxes, people always wonder how the wealthy are able to play the game of business and they are not paying the taxes that everybody else is. The middle class and the people that are actually the working force, if you're a W-2 employee, you're paying the most taxes of anybody. And Robert Kiyosaki talks about this in his book, and it was a paradigm shift for a lot of people, including myself, is you've got to be in strategic debt in order to offset your tax liability. So if you want to pay less taxes and grow your company, you're going to learn how to leverage this. This information is super powerful for that. And then it also it gives you the access. Most businesses fail in the first 18 months, and the number one reason is they run out of money. So having more and more money as they grow is super important. And as you and I know, we have a zone of genius, each of us, and we're not good at everything. So learning to outsource and delegate everything that you're not good at is another way that you can supercharge your business and jump ahead of a lot of people that have been in business as solopreneurs for a long time. So this helps with all those things.
Let's go into some of the nuts and bolts of the book. So, Chapter 3, I don't want to date this, but this is 2020. So we're recording this in August. And Chapter 3 says available funding programs for entrepreneurs. So maybe some of this information changes in the future, but as of today, tell us a little bit more about what's going on in the book with this section.
Yeah, you know what? You're super right. And in the chapters I talk about, this is a viscous thing. The credit accounts you can get and everything changes from year to year, sometimes months. Some are stable, over time. Mm-hmm. But you want the general idea, but then you're going to go into more research. That's why we have coaching programs and things where it's completely up to date, and we give links and all the things that are current as far as you going after the accounts that we're recommending. So those, as far as I know, they're still all up to date, but I'm going to be continually, probably updating the book. I'm going to do different editions because you're absolutely right. Getting the right credit accounts in the right order is the key to building corporate credit. So you can't just go out and ask for a $50,000 line of credit based on your business when it's a startup, So, but you can go get some accounts with Quill and Uline and some of these other first lender 30-day net accounts, and they will give you credit just as a new startup. And then you'll make purchases, make some payments, and then you go after the second tier, which is, like store credit, various accounts. You exercise that credit, and then you go after cash credit, So you're going to learn to structure your company so it becomes a tax writable. Everything that you're doing in your business almost is going to be able to be written off on taxes, but it's all structuring it correctly, to begin with. And that's what we teach, so that's where we go from there.
No, it's great. And I think it's a great transition to tiers of credit because, people, again, most entrepreneurs, unless they've gone down this route, but maybe a lot haven't, they're not going to know. They just know their personal credit. So that's not really a tier thing. It's like, you have your credit, you have your 3 different bureaus, depending if who knows, they maybe invented a 4th one. I don't remember. But as far as I know, there's 3 bureaus and they aggregate those depending on who you're going with and what you're going after. But that being said, tell us a little bit more about how this tier system works.
Okay, well, that's a great question, actually. And I should back up. And another difference between personal and business credit is with your business credit, you're going for the FICO score that initially sets off corporate or business credit is your PAYDEX score. That's by a company called Dun & Bradstreet. They're the biggest aggregate of business credit information out there. So that's what you're building, and what you're trying to get to begin with is an 80 PAYDEX score or better out of 100. So 80 is equivalent to about a 750 personal FICO but this is for your business. So once you get that 80 PAYDEX score, it unlocks a lot of other credits. So when we're talking about tiers, that's going to be your first goal. So getting the store credit is how you'll trigger a score. Now, when you sign up with Dun & Bradstreet, they're going to try and sell you their program. It can be $1,800 or more. They're going to try and convince you that you need them in order to build business credit, but it's not true, So don't buy into it. If you buy my book, it's much cheaper and it's going to guide you. And we also have a program, like I told you, that will help you hold your hand as you walk through this process because it can get kind of confusing. But yeah, you're going to want to set up with these accounts that they'll give any startup business, and they're specific. I name a lot of the companies that you'll want to look at in order to establish that first tier. The first tier is basically getting that score. Making your payments on time, and then you go after the next tier.
That's awesome. So Andrew, that being said, I know we're just scratching the subject really on this whole thing, and we could go a lot further into this, but we're about out of time. So I do want the audience to go pick up the book, of course. So it's really easy to find, everybody. I just to repeat this, if you haven't went and already checked it out, so it's really simple to find. Just put in Andrew Ray Money Secrets. I hit search. It's right there. So it's really easy. But full title: Entrepreneurial Money Secrets: Unlock the Power of Corporate Credit to Leverage Access to Business Capital and Win. So Andrew, if somebody wants the book to follow up and connect with you just on your overall services to see, because maybe they're looking to build credit and they want to hire a coach, or they want to just get help directly from somebody that's been doing this for a long time, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Yeah, to download the book, you can either, like you said, go on Amazon. That's real easy. Or we have a website for it, that we did for the launch. It's entrepreneurialmoneysecrets.com. We got the domain, so that's really useful and helpful. It'll send you directly there. Or if you're interested in our business and looking to get funding or checking out, we're actually, for your listeners, we're going to do a 15-minute strategy call set up. So if they go to flowbusinessfunding.com, you can either download our free guide and get on our newsletter, and you'll get emails and educational materials sent to you, as well as that free guide that'll walk you through the basics of it. And you can get a consult with us if you just go ahead and fill out the information. We just need your name, phone number, and email, and we'll be happy to help you out.
That's awesome. Well, Andrew, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and your new book. So congrats on that. Again, never an easy thing to finish a book, so thank you for that. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review in the Apple iTunes store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Money, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Andrew, thanks again for coming on the show.
No, thank you, Adam. I appreciate it.